Hey, it's Dave Wyman from Wyman and Bob. It's time for Football 101. One of my neighbors asked me, hey, what happened to your Seahawks? I said, oh, you didn't see the game? They lost. They lost in overtime, 33-30. Disappointing. To me, it was more of a tip your cap moment to the Tennessee Titans, because the team that does right the longest is the team that's going to win. Okay, the team that fills the right gap or drops to the right zone or makes the tackle or makes the right throw, runs the right route, all of those things. And I thought the Tennessee Titans, with their 4 stars, they have A.J. Brown, Julio Jones, Ryan Tannehill, who's a very good quarterback, and then the beast that is Derrick Henry, who just ran all over this defense. So, and I guarantee you it's a lot of mistakes that were happening up front, because every play should be shut down. And if you do your job, and so again, you go back to, if you do your job right for the longest time, that's the formula to win. And I thought they just wore them down. Kind of interesting, this is a couple of plays that occurred in the second quarter. They're 2 plays apart. Okay, so they run this one, have success, they come back, and the Seahawks pick it up and shut it down. So what it is just a play action pass. And this is the play. They were down inside the Seahawks, 40-yard line in their territory. And what they do is they run a play action pass. Now, I can understand biting up hard on the run if you have Derrick Henry back here, because this guy ran for over 2,000 yards last year, and he averaged 153 yards on the road. So, I mean, this guy, they were just going to keep handing him the ball. He ended up with 35 carries. So I can understand that when there's a play action pass and you got this guy back here, you're gonna step up if you're a linebacker, okay? But the problem is that you need to first, and this is a little term that we used to use, high hat, low hat. And I think you've heard me talk about this before in Football 101, that when the offensive lineman, that's your first read, is read the offensive lineman. They'll pretty much always take you where you want to go. So when they stand up, that's high hat. That means pass. There's never a time where they will run block by standing up first. And then, low hat is obviously they're coming off the ball, and, their heads are low because they're trying to get underneath the defensive linemen and linebackers to try to drive them out. So both backers kind of, had trouble reading that and kind of bit up on the fake a couple of different times. And on this first play, with about 3:50 in the second quarter, that's exactly what happened. Both linebackers stepped up, and then they just run a little route right behind it, and the linebacker has to get underneath that. And so everybody, was looking, oh, there's another completion on Trey Flowers, because Trey Flowers is one of these lightning rod type of players that everybody, that you either love him or hate him. I love him. I think he's a good player. It's just that a lot of times some of the completions that are in his area are not his fault. Okay, so this is entirely on the linebacker here. So he makes a catch right here, and it ends up being like a 19-yard gain. And you can see the linebacker, I don't remember if it was Bobby or Jordan, but he realized I should have gotten underneath that route. So they come back 2 plays later, and they run the exact same thing. The only difference is they put their little scat back in here, number 28, and then instead of A.J. Brown here, they had one of their receivers, one of their lesser-known receiver, number 16. And so, he runs the same route. It's the same exact play, except this time, Bobby takes one little step and then gets right underneath that. And you can see Tannehill was looking for the exact same thing. Like I said, this team was just going to continue to test you. Are you going to do it right? Did it wrong the first time, did it right the second time, and had to pull the ball down, and then ended up Tannehill ended up just throwing a deep route that was covered by DJ Reed. And yeah, it was no gain. So that's the kind of thing that you have to do in order to beat a team. And that's one of those corny old sayings, what I said earlier about do right longer, but that absolutely is what happens in the NFL. And it comes down to the slightest of margins of you doing the right thing on every single play. And that's difficult to do. And that's why I admire this Tennessee Titan team, because they did right so well and for so long, in this game, in an overtime game on the road, coming off a bad loss at home to the Arizona Cardinals, and thought that they just were the better team that day. All right, let's take a look at it on film. All right, here we go. This is a beautiful shot right here. Bobby Wagner lined up right here, and there's Jordan Brooks right there. And again, this is what's called 12 personnel. So that means you have one running back, two tight ends, and then two wide receivers, A.J. Brown and Julio Jones on this play. So here's what I was talking about with high hat. You can look at all of these offensive linemen. They're standing up, so that means it's a pass. And, you know, I understand. You got Derrick Henry back here. This guy is a beast. And so linebackers step up pretty hard right here. And in the meantime, you can see Julio Jones coming off the ball. Trey's got outside leverage on him, meaning he's not going to get beat to the outside, but he's looking for help when he starts to run this route, and it's just too late because Bobby steps up pretty hard, which again is understandable. And here we go, and I can tell you as a linebacker, having done this before, that's a bad feeling when you step up and you see the ball go over your head, but just perfectly executed there. Again, inside leverage, and Trey probably could be a little tighter on him, I'll be honest. But, you know, most of this has to come from the help from Bobby Wagner. And again, you know, this is the same exact play that you're going to see in a couple of screenshots here, but just a play action pass, throw the ball to Julio, and they're just going to continually test the linebacker. Is he going to step up? And if he doesn't, I'm going to complete that pass. If not, he's going to go somewhere else. And here we go, 2 plays later. Looks pretty familiar, right? This time they got number 15 in. I think I put 16, but number 15's in. This is still Julio Jones. He's going to run the same route. This is their scat back, their third down back, number 28. And same thing, it's going to be a play action pass. And here we go. This time you can see Bobby did not step up nearly as far. And, you know, Jordan did a little bit, but he also catches himself. So Bobby's going to be able to get back underneath this route right here, but it's the exact same thing. Again, 2 plays later, and that's what the Tennessee Titans do. And here you can see Bobby gets right in between the quarterback and the receiver. So if he makes this throw, Bobby's going to pick that off. And also, you know, the other thing is he has to be careful not to overrun it and jump it, because then Jones could come in behind him. So he times it really well and drops right to the right spot, and then Tannehill ends up just throwing this ball away. So pretty good job by the Titans, and I know a lot of Seahawks fans won't want to hear the whole tip your cap to the Tennessee Titans. I think they're a playoff team. They were 11-5 last week, but this is how they win, and that's why I like doing these kinds of things for Football 101. This is a very old school concept. This has been done for years. You know, again, I've stepped up as a linebacker and thinking it's a run and seeing the ball sail over my head. So it's just a matter of reading your keys, read your offensive lineman, and sometimes you get lazy or you're thinking about something else and you don't get that key and you end up paying for it with and in this case, it was a 19-yard gain by Julio Jones, but they got it right the second time, and they did it mostly right the rest of the entire game.